In a land of impossible evils, all paths lead to the Dark Lord. A beautiful princess cries out in terror, and a world despairs in darkness. Only you, the hero warrior Victar, can traverse chasms of fire and mountains of doom to battle the fiendish gatekeeper and confront the Dark Lord. In your cunning, skillful hands, the demon sword glows with a magical power more lethal than all the wretched weapons of the Dark Lord's regions. Gather your courage, grasp your blade, and release the power that is yours to control. In Demon Sword from Taito, 1990. Very, very bizarre box art on this game, and I will try and include it at the end of this. The box art, first we need to talk about the Demon Sword itself. That is probably the most bizarre looking, useless weapon I think I've ever seen. Power Blade would do better than this dude. But the box art shows you're kind of like Conan, and you got a flaming sword thingy, and there's a castle and some like big dragon bird thingies flying in the background, and then you open up the game and oh wait, no, you're like a ninja. And you run and you jump really fast, kind of like the Legend of Kage, which we will be looking at later. Demon Sword, also titled The Legend of Akala, is a video game released by Tose, T-O-S-E, and published by Taito in 1989. The caption on the box says, "To release the power." This is consistent with the game's method of powering up the character's abilities. Game starts out with an evil demon ruling over the world and its inhabitants who live in fear of it. However, a man named Victar, who comes from a small village, has a sword that can destroy the demon. How about that? The blade has previously been split up into pieces, though, and Victar must travel through 3 worlds to get back the 3 broken pieces in order to restore the sword to defeat the demon. Well, that sounds an awful lot like Wizards and Warriors 2. Anyway, Victar, who is spelled V-I-C-T-A-R, has to go through all these stages. Each world has 2 stages and then a final stage, making 7 total. And in order to regain the pieces of the sword and advance the game, we must defeat a boss at the end of every stage. As more pieces of the sword are recovered, the sword itself grows in length and power, just like the Thundercats. The player will encounter enemies on the way to the boss, which must be defeated with a variety of weapons and magic spells, such as the character's Demon Sword, which he begins the game with, arrow darts, and power beams. Yes. The player can also jump over enemies and change direction in mid-air, as well as land in and run on top of trees. However, the player must be careful when jumping, as there are various traps, such as holes and such, that the player can land in. There are 6 more stages and several bosses in the Japanese version that are unavailable in the North American version. The player in the North American version has a vitality gauge for each life remaining, while the player in the Japanese version has only the life count. There are more items and spells available in the Japanese version. The ending of the Japanese version has extra scenes and text cut from the North American version. The cover used for the English release features Conan, whereas the sprite in the game appears to be a paler, lithe man wearing a red kimono. The Japanese release features a character more similar to the in-game sprite, as we would like to believe. This was actually kind of fun. It's hard, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, it plays a lot like The Legend of Kage, physics-wise, I guess, and all that. It's a little more linear. I didn't play much of it. I only played through to what I ended up recording for this episode, and yeah, I would play it again, maybe someday.